Hey, podcast listeners. On this episode of Lisi's All the Things podcast, 3 things, I wanted to share 3 website design trends we expect law firms to embrace in 2023. I am your host, Taryn Elliott, Director of Client Success and Marketing at Lisi, and on this episode, I talk about how movement can add visual interest and engage your website visitors, the importance of having an easy-to-navigate website through minimalism, and how placing a greater significance on fonts and font selection is allowing law firms to create engaging and focused websites. So here is the 3 things, this week's episode of Lisi's All the Things podcast. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Taryn Elliott. I'm the Director of Client Success and Marketing at Lisi, and thank you for joining us for 3 things, website design trends. Last year, we wrote a blog article called 5 Website Design Trends to Consider for Your Law Firm. And we thought now seemed like a good time to update that blog post and look at what the design trends are that we are seeing for 2023. We all know that it's really important to have a professional and well-designed website. It is essentially the front door or the first impression that people are getting for your law firm. Just like law firms generally prioritize what their front lobby looks like because it's the first part of the physical space that people see, your website does the same thing. It is where people go to learn more about your law firm and to decide if maybe your law firm is the right match for them, if they want to pursue the process of potentially hiring you, or for your current clients, if it is just reiterating that they made the right choice and that you're the right choice for them and for their needs. It is also important to have a visually appealing website that directs visitors exactly where you want them to go on the website to make sure that they're taking in the information that you want them to take in so they can make an informed choice and hopefully reach out with whatever your call to action might be. Maybe that's downloading something, or maybe that's reaching out directly to your law firm to start the process of opening a new matter. So for the 3 website design trends, the first one we want to look at is movement. And last year, one of the trends we talked about were micro animations on their website, as well as smart intentional video. We've actually been talking about these things for a couple years now. And in 2023, we're just going to see movement taken a step further and get even bigger. There's been some advances in technology, which allows us to do some very different things as relates to movement on a website that we hadn't been able to do yet. So making video or an animation or some kind of movement a part of your firm's homepage is a really good way to draw website visitors into your website, to get them engaged, and to also effectively communicate the services that you offer. That is almost always the information people are looking for and the information you want to effectively convey to your website visitors. So the faster you can do it, the more effectively you can do it, the better. And movement is a good way to draw people in and convey that information. Something new we're seeing in movement is kinetic typography, which is just moving text. By having moving text on your website, you can grab a website visitor's attention and help them navigate the web page, help them just figure out visually where they need to go next on the web page as they're following that movement. It can highlight important sections of your website as well as help guide a user while they're scrolling through your website. But one of the coolest ways I think that you can implement this on your website is to gradually reveal a message. As the text is moving, you're adding different parts to that message until finally the entire message is there, holding people's interest because of course they want to see what does this say, where is this going, and really helping them kind of spend that time with it and really take that message in. Kinetic typography is something fun, it's engaging, and it's a little bit different without being over the top. So this is a really good option for law firms to incorporate into their website. Something else that's a little bit different, but building off things that we've been doing, are cinemagraphs. Cinemagraphs are a high quality video or a GIF that runs on a loop. So we've been seeing this full size for a while now. There'll be a looping video, maybe for a hero image or a header image. But this isn't full size or full screen. This is smaller images. So think of something like a grid. Maybe you have your practice areas or you have industries, but some of them are moving, or the moving images are kind of drawing you to the place you want people to go to next. So there's some static images, but also some moving images that are just continuously looping. This, again, adds visual interest especially to a page that might not have any movement on it. This is an easy way to do that. It also keeps visitors scrolling because, again, it's that movement is drawing the eye as you want them to move through your page. And finally, there are animated illustrations. Animated illustrations can serve as an engaging and visual way to explain complex legal concepts in understandable terms. So we've been advocating for illustrations for a while to fill in the gaps when a photo or some other image might not be able to fully capture a legal concept that a firm is trying to convey, or really any concept. We have used animated illustrations on our own website because it was the most effective way to visually convey the information that we were wanting our website visitors to take away from that. So while illustrations have been popular for a while, the animated illustration is just a more interesting way for the visitor to consume that information on your website. And again, hopefully will engage them enough to really pursue all of that information and get a more cohesive and fuller picture of the message you were trying to send. Next, for our second design trend, is minimalism. And you might be thinking, talked about this before, and you're right, minimalism has been popular for many years now, and it will remain so for law firms in 2023. While you might see some big consumer brands moving more towards a visually busy website, for lack of a better term, we don't anticipate law firms are going to do that. Having a minimalistic or the simplicity of a minimalistic website allows law firms to stand out in a really complex world. It allows law firms to convey their firm's strategic message without the clutter of everything else. It allows website visitors to easily navigate through the website because they're not being bombarded with all of the other images and text that can sometimes be on websites that aren't minimalistic. It really enhances the user experience and it makes the website more accessible, especially for people who might have visual impairments that make consuming a really busy website hard for them, or other impairments that might make that difficult. And finally, it's just overall user-friendly for all of the reasons we've already discussed. In 2023, there is a move to ultra minimalism, which is just the minimalistic website taken a step further. You get rid of everything that isn't the absolutely necessary information. This is really great for loading or for page loading speeds, which is important in SEO and some other metrics that Google places for whether or not your website shows up in search. Plus also slow page loads, people just get bored and leave. So this allows your page to load really fast, getting people the information they want very quickly, and also just getting them absolutely the information they want. If you are a law firm and you want people to get the information they need and make a quick decision to reach out, an ultra minimalistic website might be the right match for you. And taking that even a step further, our text-only website. So this gets rid of all of the images and it's just text on your website. So it needs to be really well written, but it also is very different and it will be a stark contrast to what people are used to seeing, but also give people the ability to just take in exactly what you want them to take in. That leads us to our third website design trend, which is fonts. Fonts have always been a really important part of the website design process, but in 2023, we're expecting this to take on even greater significance. Fonts set the tone for your website, for your brand. Not only do you discuss this in the website design process, you discuss this in the logo design process, and it really leads into all of the marketing that your law firm does, and even sometimes just your communications, marketing, legal, or otherwise, that your firm is putting out into the world. A high quality font can really set the tone for how your law firm will be perceived. I think we've all seen the example of you go into what you think is a professional setting and they put up the first slide or they give you the handout and it's written in Comic Sans. You're like, didn't expect this. But we've seen the reverse where you go into some kind of presentation and the font, even if it's just on a written piece of paper, is really professional. It reflects the brand of the law firm, and it subtly says, like, yes, this is the right fit. This is the right firm. A font-focused website can have a really big impact, and a couple ways that we're seeing designers do this is through structured typography. This might be something as simple as just using all caps for your headers and using regular paragraph text for the rest of the body of content that you're sharing. This also could be picking fonts that have shapes and structure that is really distinctive, but this provides the structure and stability that website users are looking for, especially in all of the clutter and everything that we've been talking about, all of the messaging, everything that our brains are constantly trying to take in all the time. Also, we touched on this previously, but this is where text-only websites come in as well, with the importance of font. If you're picking the right fonts and the right font treatments, you can really create a compelling website that leaves images out and gets straight to the messaging. Website designers know that a really strategically selected message with a really creative arrangement can be just as compelling and just as engaging as images and animations are. And this is another way that law firms can differentiate themselves, is by going with these text-only, well laid out, well thought out websites. Another way to really focus on text in your website design is for the text to be interactive. We've talked about that already in the animations and movement section about how you can bring in kinetic typography and some other things. But for movements in the fonts, it could be something as simple as the font just changes weight as you scroll over it. Again, this helps you kind of move through the website, keeps you engaged, keeps you interested, keeps you getting to the information that you want your prospects and clients to get to. One note on using font in your websites: don't overdo it. The most important thing when using a font on your website is to make it readable. So sometimes when you have fonts that are trying to do too much or laid over too many images or whatever, it can be really hard to read. And that is a problem. First and foremost, you have to be able to convey the information you want through your font. I'm going to throw in a bonus today because it kind of overlaps all these things. A fourth trend we're seeing is overlapping text. So we're used to seeing websites that are done on a grid layout. So you might have a box here of a picture and a box here of text, and then underneath it, another picture, and underneath it, more text. And website designers are kind of turning that on their head, turning it on its head a little bit, breaking some rules and having those overlaps. So you might have an image with text that's going, on top of it or partially on top of it. Again, this is just another way to create visually compelling messaging using both text and images, really conveying the message that you want to convey quickly to your prospects and clients. So that is it. That is today's 3 things for website design trends. Thank you for tuning in. There is a lot of information on website design and development trends on our website. Please visit our website to get more information. But if you have questions on website design and development trends, join us next Friday for an Ask Me Anything session on website design and development. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.
You have been listening to All the Things, the podcast from Legal Internet Solutions Incorporated, where we bring you all the things. Whether it's 3 things we learned, hearing from a legal marketing insider, an Ask Me Anything session, or that one more thing we've been dying to tell you all month long, but couldn't. That's all the things. Our next episode will be out in a week wherever you get your podcasts. And you can join us for the live events every Friday at 12:30 Eastern on our LinkedIn channel for our live stream where we bring you all the things live.